Spectrum wants to hear your views. You can SMS at any time during the show. Type Spectrum, leave a space, type in your contribution and name, then send it to 7197. Your views, our interviews on Spectrum, Radio 1 FM 90.
A very warm welcome. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. I'm your host, Edmond Kizito. On Spectrum tonight, what is the role of police in the ongoing KCCA property evictions? Over the weekends, city dwellers were shocked after news emerged that an eviction exercise of people perceived to be operating in businesses in illegal structures by KCCA became bloody, leading to the death of at least one person. This eviction, planned and executed by the city planner, George Agaba, together with KCCA law enforcement officers, targeted city dwellers in Luzira, the Kampala suburb. The community appealed for mercy and more time so they could relocate with minimal losses, but their pleas fell on deaf ears. Excessive force was used, including the firing of live ammunition by the bodyguard of Agaba, before the enforcement officers clobbered the traders, some very badly. The bodyguard was today charged with murder, but the office of the DPP, that is the Directorate of Public Prosecutions, indicated that it has no concrete evidence at the moment to charge Agaba, although investigations are still continuing. KCCA Executive Director Jennifer Musisi condemned the manner in which the eviction in Luzira was handled, but her adversaries believe that she bears responsibility since she ordered the eviction in the first place. Efforts by the Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago to call council to debate and take a position about KCCA evictions remain futile because the NRM-dominated council is at loggerheads with him, and today the councillors walked out on him. Police Chief General, Lieutenant General Kalika Ihura has discouraged evictions without informing the police, but the evictions by KCC are likely to continue, with reports indicating that people operating on verandas and by the roadside near the Chiseka market are to follow. Today, human rights activists and lawyers criticize the inhumane evictions, saying they show a lack of respect for human rights. So tonight we ask, are you listeners happy with the manner in which KCCA is handling evictions? And what is the role of police in the ongoing evictions, noting that some KCCA law enforcement agents are armed? We'll also ask the question, why has the political leadership of KCCA failed to deal with this matter, and stating the implications on public peace? Our guests tonight, Mr. Ladislaus Rwakafuzi, human rights lawyer. You're most welcome, Mr. Rwakafuzi.
Thank you.
We expect to be joined by Honorable Erias Lukwago, the Lord Mayor of Kampala City. He's on his way to this place right now. Though we also have Assistant Superintendent of Police Anatoli Muleterwa, Police Community Liaison Officer at Kampala Metropolitan Police. You're most welcome, Mr. Muleterwa.
Glad to hear from you.
I'll start with you, Mr. Ladislaus Rwakafuzi. As activists, human rights activists and lawyers, you have criticized the manner in which evictions by KCCA are being handled, but KCCA says they are, cleaning the city, following the law. Why would you oppose them when, according to them, they are doing something lawful?
Well, they are acting lawfully because they have the mandate to do so. But are they professionally qualified to do some of the things they are doing? Is Agaba qualified to hold the office he is holding? You see, it is very sad. Personally, I thought that the president and many other people really wanted a new Kampala. They wanted a Kampala that would be very clean and a city that Ugandans would be proud of. But ultimately, what was done was that
yes. You say they wanted the right people in the right places.
They did not get the right people in the right places.
Yes.
In my opinion, if the president was really very keen on having the right, they should have advertised all the places, including the position of the executive director. You see, I don't begrudge her position. She's a personal friend of mine. She's my fellow counsel. But at a national level, I think she's not the most qualified. There should have been competition. They should have opened it even up to the East African level to get people who are very smart at planning the city, people who are seasoned in such a business. But you see, you get people, you do not even know their background. Now, a person like Agaba, for me, I blame the president who chose him. I should not blame Agaba, because the president, he bears the responsibility for having brought people who are not qualified. Now, Agaba is one case in point. There could be others who may follow. Personally, I don't think we are getting value for money for the people who are running the city. I don't know the other directors. I only know Agaba. And the other directors may be qualified or whatever. But personally, I think if a person has sat an interview and knows his terms of reference, he would hold his position more professionally. But now, when he knows that he's a political appointee, the danger with that kind of thing, the power goes to your head, and you think you are the A to Z of everything you are doing. You are not answerable to anybody other than the president. So this is where the whole problem is.
So you think he's incompetent?
He's incompetent, and it is the president to blame. All the directors, in my opinion, the positions should be re-advertised, and we get the best qualified people. People should sit interviews. There should be terms of reference. People should show what their track record, what they have done in the past, and so that really we are sure. I'm not saying that these people will not deliver. I'm not saying that. You see, by chance they might deliver, but already we are seeing that it may be very difficult.
But this man tried to be a town planner in a rural constituency somewhere. After he makes it to the city. So
which constituency? In Zimbabwe or wherever?
Somewhere in the village, I think Zimbabwe or somewhere there. He tried to be a planner there. He couldn't pass the interviews, but he makes it to the city. What's wrong with that?
Of course, it is. If there had been interviews here, you can imagine if a person to be a planner in Zimbabwe needs to sit an interview, and yet they're in Kampala. You said the metropolitan.
Well, he did pass that one, but this one at least they think he qualified. What's wrong?
No. For me, I'm saying that, you see, if even for a small town like Zimbabwe, you need a person, a planner should sit an interview and show that he has some qualifications. But for Kampala, you don't need even to give an interview for a person just because he's politically connected. It's very wrong. And let me tell you, Edmond, we are in for very bad times. I was in Rwanda recently, and of course it is sad for us to continue talking about Rwanda and so on and so forth. I have my own grudges with the Rwanda government on the Democratic Front. But one thing I have seen is that they choose the best person to occupy a position.
Merit. Here it's different.
Merit is very, very, very important. Yes. But here it is your political inclination. And yet really, you see, I don't understand. Political inclination for what? You see, we are all Ugandans, and we don't eat our political parties, we don't eat our religions, we don't eat any of all that kind of nonsense.
Right.
All we need are the terms of reference for us to be able to work.
All right. Well, listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio 1 tonight. What is the role of police in the ongoing KCCA property evictions? Our guest tonight, Honorable Erias Lukwago, still expected. He is the Lord Mayor of Kampala, capital city. Well, you've just been hearing from Mr. Ladislaus Rwakafuzi, human rights lawyer, also a veteran practitioner. Right now, you're going to hear from Assistant Superintendent of Police Anatoli Muleterwa, Police Committee Liaison Officer, Kampala Metropolitan Police. Talk to us about what you saw at the Sunday eviction in Luzira. You saw the pictures, you've looked at the arguments, I've heard the arguments by KCCA. What went wrong?
Dear listeners and the moderator, I wish to seek for let me say we really need to say sorry for what happened with our defection, because indeed nobody would wish to have his or her life taken away in such a manner. However, as per the question, the role of police, as you are aware, our listeners and my fellow participants here, is that the police is the lead agency in the implementation of laws. And the inactivity regarding to the implementation of law, we need to plan it together with the other agencies and partners in order to ensure the smooth running of such an activity. Nevertheless, we must also know that the KCCA is an autonomous organization. Yes. It has all organs that can make it work without police. For example, it has a court, it has the law enforcement department, and at the same time it has an ordinance through which it operates. So what happened that time, with or without our involvement, we need to know that it was an occupational hazard, which is regrettable. Nevertheless, the Uganda Police Force, through the Police Land Protection Unit, has put in place such safety measures that whoever has anything related to eviction on land can pass through our legal unit or our land protection unit, where he can be able to get a force to safeguard him or her during an execution or during the conduct of any kind of legal procedure to take place. And at the same time, when we are doing that, it is just not a matter of coming to inform us that please I'm going to do a BCD. There are laid down procedures for which one has to follow. One, that indeed somebody who is claiming vacant occupation has to have a court order. That court order passes through our Police Land Protection Unit. It is considered by our legal officer there. Then he sends it to the respective police officers. So, for example, KMP, then from KMP Directorate.
That's the Kampala Metropolitan.
Yes, the headquarters. Then from the headquarters can go to the region. For that, in regard to this particular area, it would have been Kampala East. That is Ginger Road, where the RPC sits. Then the RPC puts a minute for the DPC to cooperate effectively with the parties and ensure that there is no resistance. And if at all there is resistance, there is always demand for one to adjust, because there are always conditions for which the commander sets, that you just don't need to go and apply force. Of recent, we have adopted a new approach, because we have realized that many Ugandans have become very they have become very complacent with the issues of the law. So what we do an engagement. That is to say that before the eventual execution takes place, we prepare these people, talk to them, tell them there is this party and there is this party. Now, if you have anything that you think may not really augur well, please, we don't want violence. But if you think all things have been settled, we need each of you to comply with what takes place. So eventually we find that many executions that we conduct with our partners, especially like for example, most court bailiffs, they come to the police for an eviction and we execute it together. Where we have any problem, we advise each parties so that we do not become lawless. We don't take the law into our hands. And at the same time, we also involve the local leaders. It is just not a matter of coming and saying, please, I am ABCD. No. We go to the level of calling the local leaders to mobilize for us their residents, so that they get to know what is taking place, and even they get to know the document, because this court order is supposed to be transmitted up to the local leaders and even the parties affected. So it is just not a one-man's document that you need to put it in your briefcase and think it is all. So about any other activities, it is not only in line with the execution, but we really call upon all our stakeholders to partner up with us during or before and during any exercise, so that we do not really ensure this, we do not really experience friction, because friction has really brought us into very bad light. Very bad light with the people we are serving.
All right. I mean, you've explained it very, very well, and we'll get into the details of that shortly. But basically, what you said, KCCA is, it's constituted in such a way that it has the legal right to do what it did.
Yes, definitely.
But administratively, in terms of practice, they should not have done that. Like you say, the court bailiffs, they have a document from the courts, but still they come to you and then they go to the local leaders, and yet they could still go and do it on their own without doing that. So administratively, these people had a flaw there.
Now, yeah, there was definitely, as you could have noted, that there was desire for us to partner up. To ensure that if there is anything to be done, because some of these people were in plain clothes, that would be that element. Ugandans are full of suspicious mind. When you want to see, however you come, even if you come and say, I am so, but when they don't really see the uniform around, they think probably you are a personator. Probably I thought police would have been very close to this, but as I've told you, KCCA is an autonomous body. It has all organs that can operate, but we always work with it to ensure that what we do is in close partnership for the smooth running of the city. Because none of us is more competent than the other. We need a very clear environment, we need peace, we need security, we have everyone's involvement.
Everyone's involvement. Let's talk about that. Agabas, watching television clips, was an official, I think it's Kweronda or something, was pleading with Agaba, I forget the name, and Agaba said, no, because the law is on my side, I'll do it anyway.
I would not
be the right spirit. The law might be right, but it's a spirit.
Well, I wouldn't like you to push me to the point of discussing Agaba, because what he executed,
he has no problem.
What he executed,
he has no fault.
I'm not sure, because
the court hasn't said that.
The
court hasn't said that. I think it is either the police or the DPP.
The DPP says they don't see any fault with what the man did.
Well, it is very sad, because the DPP recently charged people who are working to work with the prison.
Yes.
Now, a person who gets a gun and tries to shoot and fails, I think he did shoot. He made some shots, and then he asked his bodyguard to complete what he had started. And actually, we hear him say, "Work rapid." It is him saying
he's the commander.
He's the commander.
You see, work, you committed treason.
Exactly. And if it's the same people doing this, then it is very sad. It is the end of times.
Talk to us about something more civil. The disputes between the executive director and the Lord Mayor.
Yes.
Where do they come from? From the legal perspective, why do they differ when everything is written down in black and white?
No, it's not in black and white, really. It's not as clear cut as it is. It's not. You see, that law was written hurriedly. The KCCA Act was written very hurriedly. And first of all, their heart was not in it. Well, they wanted to find a way of changing the opposition, who has always since 1997 has been in charge of the city. So the thing was written hurriedly, and when you look at the act, it is does not even mention the directorates, their powers, and that kind of thing. It is and then it's very difficult to marry this very act, the KCCA Act, with the Local Government Act. You see, then the councillors are mentioned in the Act, in the KCCA Act, but you see, they are more elaborately talked about in the Local Government Act, and yet the two acts are supposed to run parallel. They are not supposed to join somewhere. It is very problematic, and I think there is need to amend the Act, and you may blame Lukwago and Musi for not cooperating, but also there is a problem with the Act itself. It does not spell out the roles
of each side.
Yes. So because, for example, the director is not mentioned. Her powers, executive director is not mentioned, and his or her powers are not even provided. So it is very difficult.
And how can it be resolved?
Parliament must revisit the Act. and redraft it afresh and provide something more clear-cut.
And what kind of clear-cut law would you have there?
Yes, you see, like in the Local Government Act, the roles of the chairman and his cabinet, the executive, are very, very clear, and the roles of the council itself, the councillors and so forth, are not in dispute. Everything is clear in black and white.
Yes.
Yes, and there are certain things which the council must do, and other things which are implemented by the executive. But here, the KCCA Act needs to be revisited, and it was done hurriedly, and the sooner they revisit it, the better.
And what can we find in the end? What can we expect? Who will be boss in the end? The mayor or the ED?
Well, it is very difficult.
Ideally, take an ideal picture for us.
I don't know. First of all, Lukwago is my personal friend,
yes,
and so is Musisi.
Yes.
I wanted both of them to succeed, at least for the purposes of the people of Uganda to know that to say, look here, Lukwago and Musisi succeeded. But I think in the current circumstances, both of them might fail.
Both of them might fail?
Yes. Both of them might fail, yes, yeah.
And the people of Kampala will have to wait to get another ED, another mayor, for them to get something.
Well, I don't know if it may come to that. Well, maybe the best thing would be, of course, which is very difficult now. If we repeated the elections, then the councillors need to go back to the people to find out that they are speaking for the people. Those councillors who are at loggerheads with the Lukwago may not come back if there was another election. So, but then those councillors will not seek a fresh mandate till 5 years from now.
Yes.
And for that matter, Lukwago has to deal with them, and they have an option even to vote him out. Even if he was voted out, Lukwago may come back. If he comes back, for example, in another election, and they see the same councillors, it is very problematic. In my opinion, the whole council should go. They seek a fresh mandate.
Right.
Yes. They seek a fresh mandate. I mean, the district council here, the KCCA.
Yes.
They then go back, seek a fresh mandate. Then we get to know how these things will run. Otherwise, if the councillors are not told that it is necessary to seek a fresh mandate, they will continue being a problem to Lukwago, even if he's well-intentioned.
Listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio 1. We're going for a break. But tonight, what is the role of police in the ongoing KCCA property evictions? We'll go for a break in a short while. But before we do that, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Mr. Muleterwa, yesterday Police Chief Kali Kahura banned any evictions in which police has no hand. What was the role of police in yesterday's eviction? And also you said earlier that cases can do these things without him. Won't they ignore him and still be on the good side of the law?
For example, my chief executive, the IGP, guided.
Yes.
And like I've already mentioned, it is very important, very paramount for all of us to get involved to ensure safety for all. Remember that police provide security for all because it is a common good for all, and therefore, where there is friction, the neutral body takes position, and that is the police. Therefore, given that incident and the costs it caused, it invoked the Inspector General to come out and cause guidance that whoever is supposed to do this needs to work together with the police. Like I've already mentioned it, the police is the leading agency in the implementation of all the laws.
Yes.
Whether you like it, whether you own the law, you need support from that lead agency, which is the police.
Right.
And as such, our involvement in this regard must ensure that no party is pushed the wall like this happened.
Yeah,
and at the same time, I want also to remind our listeners that we should not only be able to look at in this regard, KCCA. We are talking about the operations of police in its implementation of all laws regarding property. Even if one is a court bailiff, he has to work with the police. Even if one is whatever, he has to come back and work with the police. So our desire is to cause harmony. And like I've told you, that when one comes to us with a prepared document, say a court order, that this is my court order, I need vacant position, he will not go with that document and say, get out.
Yes.
No. We first go to the ground and involve everybody, including the residents, all parties affected, and the local leaders on ground.
This is Spectrum on Radio, and we'll go for a break. We'll be back. Please stay tuned.
Fellow Ugandans, the United Nations has declared that access to the internet is a universal human right, along with access to water and food. Like the UN, we believe that every Ugandan should enjoy this right. We believe that access to information, education, and improved communication through the internet will build this great nation. And it is because of what we so strongly believe that we are giving every single MTN customer 10 megabytes of free data on their mobiles. And everyone can start experiencing it now.
Follow us on facebook.com/MTNUG or twitter.com/MTNUgandaCare. This announcement was brought to you by MTN.
John, Mike and I, we go back a bit. We knew John at the beginning, working for someone else. But he was different. He had vision, saw opportunities. He started working towards his goal, opened his own garage, and worked, learning the hard way. His reputation spread. Trust, consistency, quality. Soon people were coming to him from all parts. He made himself and his whole street prosper, and also helped friends, seeing potential in people and helping them on. But John never shouts about all his success. He's just who he is. Special.
So here's to men like John, who make a difference, who enjoy Nile Special, the rich, satisfying taste from the source. Nile Special. You've earned it.
Not for sale to persons under 18.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90 is brought to you by Stanbic Bank.
Just these people.
Welcome back. This is Spectrum on Radio 1 tonight. What is the role of police in the ongoing KCCA property evictions? Our guests tonight, Mr. Ladislaus Rwakafuzi, human rights lawyer, and Assistant Superintendent of Police Anatoli Muleterwa, Police Community Liaison Officer, Kampala Metropolitan Police. We're excited to be joined by the Lord Mayor. He has been unable to come. You'll be able to call in and contribute to this discussion. We'll talk about some of these ongoing evictions. Maybe let's talk about that. Assistant Superintendent of Police Muleterwa, KCCA, we understand, is still going on with evictions, and the next stop is the volatility sector market. How do you know about this?
What indeed you have said, you read a statement here regarding my chief executive, the Inspector General of Police, and not only the Inspector General of Police, even other senior police officers have always called upon KCCA to work in conjunction with the police. A series of activities have been conducted together with us, and we have succeeded very, very well. One of them was the resettlement of the street vendors. We closely worked with them, and it was very, very peaceful. No incident whatsoever happened during that time. Why? Police was in the lead. We caused through, at that time, the commander, Kampala Metropolitan, AIGP Tuyakumanawe, and later on, AIGP Kawesi. We involved a series of meetings to prepare these people so that we do not in any way have a confrontational approach with each other, and succeeded.
Yes.
Then even the people, like you have now mentioned about Kiseka,
yes,
there is no intention by police to evict Kiseka.
But what are you going to do it? Yeah, what are you going to do?
No, I'm only hearing that from you, from me right
you
now.
Have to shoot over your heads. Plainclothes men on this side, under the police on the other side.
No, that's not what we intend.
Movement of truth. It happened in Alkuladi some time back.
That's not what we intend to do. What we intend to do is that where there is smoke, there must be fire. We shall always establish where the source of everything comes from, and then we work together. What we know is that of recent there have been some street operators, these street vendors, whether they are called street vendors or what, they are called Kadede.
Oh, never heard of that word.
Yeah, you have never heard, but it's a common word there. If you went there and looked for any street vendor, you may not get one. But when you called Kadede, you'd get one. So
what is that in the city?
In the city, these are boys who carry or who vend spare parts from one shop to another, fixed in one's vehicle in order to get a difference.
Yes.
It may not necessarily that one has paid directly. He only gets paid after he has worked, and then he goes back to pay the owner.
Right.
Now, these are people who have been operating in front of Kiseka Market, along the main road, causing traffic jam and all that.
Right.
So, police, in conjunction with KCCA, together with the management of Kiseka Market, saw it with the necessity to cause sanity in that place, because some of these boys were people who were involved in crime. They were plucking off people's side mirrors, reflected whatever, and at the same time they were even causing a lot of other crimes, like even stone throwing and all that. So police worked together with the KCCA to evict that group, not evicting the entire market, because the entire market, as far as I know, through the Inspector General of Police again, saw to it the necessity for those people to get their land title. And as I talk, they have a land title. Remember, I think a few months ago, they even celebrated in openness that they received a land title. So how do you then give them a land title and then land to them? Yeah, so it is not per se that there is that eviction, but the intention was to clean up that stretch of.
But was that a requirement by the vendor, by the owners of the shops? Did the owners of the shops invite the police to evict those boys?
Yeah, we have had a lot of outcry from not only the shop owners, but even other road users. Yeah, in terms of security, we have had a lot of threats. These are boys even who were conniving with their local security guards to bring in suspected stolen items and smuggle them inside the market. And we would get a lot of information from the market leaders inviting us to conduct operations. And they're the ones who even led us to the ring leaders. So there was a necessity.
There was some outcry.
Yeah.
All right. Ladislaus, talk to us about the priorities. The city still has potholes, a lot of dust. It has, and we don't know which building should be broken. The last time George Agaba was here, he said 80% of Kampala is unplanned. And I asked him, are you going to break down 80% of Kampala? He said it's not practicable. He's still breaking down buildings. Some big buildings, big hotels in Kampala are unplanned. Do you think we're getting our priorities right? They evicted vendors, they're breaking down buildings and jailing litterers. Are these the priorities? Is littering, for instance, one of the biggest crimes? Talk to us about the priorities. Some people think they are upside down of the cases here.
Well, you see, sometimes it is better to do something easy, otherwise you do nothing. For example,
you leave the big hotels and you attack the poor women and men.
Otherwise you see, when you are asked to account at the end of the day, what you have done, you may say nothing, but at least like removing street vendors was very easy. They were hapless fellows. They were kicked, no protection. That was the easy bit of it. But the potholes,
that's difficult.
It's very difficult. The potholes and the dust, the dusty roads that feed onto the city, it's very difficult because it requires resources, and this government does not have the money. Well, it used to have the money, but I think they have stolen it.
You think so?
This
Who has stolen it?
Well, you see, when you hear of people being paid so much money, then if one person is paid $58 million, in a very useless and sham transaction. What do you expect really? $58 million is a lot of money, which can do many things. This city, I'm told, requires $200 million to resurface all the roads, for it to become a modern city. And yet that money it could be available, because the other day the president went to Russia and bought junk.
They're not junk, they're first-class jets to protect us.
Whom have they beaten? You see, why the team deploy them in Somalia? At least let's hear them do something. If they don't move, for me they are junk. For me, as far as I'm concerned, they are junk. They are not of value for money for the Ugandans.
You'd have preferred that money is spent on roads.
Exactly. Yes, spent on roads, spent on Mulago Hospital. Mulago Hospital is in a terrible state. It's very sick. Our people are sleeping on the floor, and you find a person buying jets, and we don't know. I don't know. I'm not very good at computer, but I've asked people to check on the website where those planes are sold to find whether actually that is the cost of those planes. I think this is very bad.
What do you mean?
I don't know if
the president bought those jets himself, so how can you say those things?
Yeah, but you see, I don't know if that was the correct price.
Well,
but they could have cheated him. I'm not saying that he pocketed the difference, but they could have cheated him.
They could have given the wrong price.
Exactly.
Taking advantage because he
doesn't know. Yeah.
Mr. Muleterwa, let's talk about the presence of firearms at KCCA. We understand that a good number of KCCA people at KCCA have firearms under their belts, and when they argue and the argument gets very difficult, they can't go beyond reason, they pull out these guns to settle the argument. Is this something that's normal?
No, Mr. Edmond, I want us to look at the Firearms Act itself. There is an act in place which enables every able-bodied Ugandan of age 21 years and above
can have a gun.
To have a gun, provided he fulfills certain conditions.
Yes.
One of them being that he must not be insane.
Must be normal.
Must be normal.
Edmond, yes. I want the officer to tell us whether Agaba's gun was licensed, whether he was licensed to carry that gun.
No, I'm coming to that.
No, that's the most important thing. Was he licensed to carry an SMJ? It was an SMJ, because if it could have rapid, that was a rapid
submachine.
Yes.
Edmond, I call upon you for your protection, because I am here to guide the people on whether there are Ugandans who are entitled to private firearms.
Go on.
And I've not had anyone coming out to challenge whether God did not have a private firearm.
Give us the
no, it is you.
Give us the guidelines. Then maybe
the guidelines are supposed to be him to tell us that the police, you keep the records.
Let's give us
tell us you have had this incident has happened now, is coming to since Sunday.
Yes.
Today is Wednesday. You should have already known whether Agaba's gun, whether Agaba was licensed to carry an SMG.
Now, can I go ahead to give the guidelines before you can come to...
Go on.
Now, one of it that one must be of age 21 and above. He must be sane. And another one is that he must not be a drunkard.
Oh.
Drunkard. So if
I drink, go on.
If you drink, then you lose temper with your gun, then we may think there is an opportunity for you to misuse it. Then there must really you must show a very strong reason
why you should carry a gun.
Why you should have a gun. Either because you are economically viable and you think your economic empire is under threat, or you think you are a political figure and therefore you think you need that private firearm. So when you fulfill those conditions, you get
a license.
No, don't just get a license like that.
Yes.
You then get application forms.
Yes.
From a private security organization at police headquarters.
Yes.
Then after that, you apply to the Minister for Internal Affairs.
The Minister.
Through the Inspector General of Police.
Yes.
So when that is done, it is not automatic that even if you have fulfilled all conditions
that you'll get it.
Yes. Now, there are also other, in Uganda, we have government agencies that may not go through police.
Let's talk about the private individuals.
Yes.
Agaba style.
Now, some of those private organizations.
Individuals.
No, wait. The private organizations. We have the private security organizations.
Let's talk about individuals in this.
I am coming to that at that point. Some of the private security organs are licensed, like Securico, Serasen, KK. They can acquire firearms
on behalf of their clients.
On behalf of their clients, but also under the supervision of the Uganda Police Force. So you never know, he may be through such whatever.
Or another.
Yes, and he acquires that firearm, and you eventually find that he's carrying it legally.
Can he carry a submachine gun, an SMG?
I'm yet to find out.
Is it allowed for a private person to carry?
I'm yet to find out.
No, you've just been defining the laws. Is it legal?
The law does not limit on any type of gun.
You can have an AK-47?
Provided you think there is security towards your life.
You can have an AK-47. You have many people.
You can have an RPG.
Now, all those are conditions which you must be able to fulfill. No, not cutting corners. I need you.
Edmond, he's consistent.
Okay, let's
see. That is the cutting of corners they have used to exonerate so far. Agaba. Yes. Agaba is supposed to be in jail.
Well, let's hear from the listeners. Yes. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. You can call in now. Our number is 041-434-8111, 031-226-0390, 031-226-1390. When you call in, please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Spectrum, hello?
Hello?
Yes, your name?
My name is Jack. I think that officer is misleading everyone.
Okay, go on. How is he misleading people?
SMGs are strictly used by the armed forces of this country, so Mr. Agaba does not qualify to carry a firearm of that nature under any circumstances. So I think that officer should stop misleading people.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Jack. Spectrum, hello? 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 Please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Okay. Okay, hello? Okay. Yes, answer that question for us.
But
you're cutting corners.
No, indeed, the listener or the caller did not get my perspective. I did not say that Agaba is licensed, but you are the ones who were telling me that he's carrying an SMG. I told you that I'm yet to find out.
Can a private individual carry an automatic rifle?
No, I don't know.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir, your name?
Yes, my name is Robert.
Yes, Robert.
And I heard you talking about KCC. And I think that the main problem, the priority, which we should be concentrating on about KCC is reorganizing the organization. Because the first attempt didn't succeed. So unless KCC is reorganized, it can never get anything done. Because you cannot have an organization where the entire directorate, the entire management are presidential appointees. You have RDCs, you have elected councillors, and 5 councils for a city of 2 million people. The whole thing is just a big mess. You see? So by the time you wake up and you get services delivered to the people, the cows would have come home. So the entire thing needs to be reorganized. And in order to do that, you need people who have experience with the organization and know its failures. Because you cannot have an authority which depends on the public service to recruit people for it. You see, Uganda Revenue Authority, CAA, do their own recruitment. But in KCC, as Ian Clark will tell you, some of their things are bogged down, their programs are bogged down because public service delays their recruitment and other things. So KCC as an authority needs to be brought into line so that it matches other authorities like NSA, CAA, and the Revenue Authority, which is running very well.
Spectrum, hello?
Good evening.
Good evening, your name?
My name is Oweri. First of all, I want to know the gentleman who is discussing it. Because when you talk about firearms, it can be acquired by any Ugandan. As long as you are trained and properly acquired it. So I want to correct the other gentleman who was saying that SMG cannot be given to a person like Agaba. Now, my biggest problem now with the KCC, I think there's lack of teamwork, there's lack of involvement of the population or the people within the city. The director started very well, but I think the directors also need to have a kind of PR to operate. And my take, why did Agaba, a director, involve himself in this kind of mess? He himself as a director, he should have sent the Kanyamas and the rest. But himself getting involved, I think it was a big mistake.
All right, let's get back. One final caller before we get back to the studio. Spectrum, hello. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. Well, we lost that voice. ASP Muleterwa, talk to us about this firearms.
Yeah, I have. It's good. Mr. Wera has even reminded me about another requirement. That it is just not a matter of once one has met all those conditions, he must undergo training.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, get a certificate of training by our personnel to authorize him to do that. Now, about whether Agaba was carrying an SMG, that one is
it's a detail.
I'm yet to find it out because I don't deal with the issues of firearms. But as far as I know, is that when one has any security threat, those are the requirements through which one can be able to apply for a firearm.
And they pay money for it.
Definitely. And it is licensable.
And they count the bullets that they give.
No, wait. It is licensable after every year.
Every year you have to renew it.
You must renew it.
They find that you point your gun at people.
Then even if you have just renewed today and you have realized that you have misused your firearm, your license is revoked.
They ask you to bring it back.
Definitely.
How many firearms are out there? Do you have that?
I'm not in that department. I would really seek for more time to get further.
And you can get anything, RPG, whatever it is.
No, I don't want you to put the RPG as if it is the only gun usable. What we are looking at is, provided you want to get a firearm, who is supposed to ensure that you get it?
Well, let's know the limit. Can I get a Katusha, put it outside of my gate, 16 barrels?
Do we have it here in Uganda?
You mean the limit?
I'm finding out from you. Do you have it from here in Uganda? And does it require you surely to carry it along with you?
Put it outside my gate.
For what?
So people don't come.
Yes.
Instead of putting
No, that is not the purpose of the gun.
Ladislaus, talk to us about. Robert was passionate about some of the priorities. Reorganization. Do you think we need to reorganize that place?
Well, yeah, but also I think not all is lost. If Jennifer and Erias can strike some compromise somewhere and agree to disagree on some issues, but
in principle,
and move forward. I think some form of humility is required of both of them. Because when you are serving the public, sometimes you need to act like a fool.
Eat humble pie.
Yes, exactly. So, because ultimately, these wrangles, for now, I think Jennifer should not take it for granted that her place is cast in stone. No, the president is a very funny man. He can wake up tomorrow and he says, "Look here, Jennifer."
Public appeal.
Yes, that kind of thing. So, if my sister could actually find a working relationship with Lukwago, because Lukwago is an elected person, so he has to be there. I can see that maybe she may want to use the councillors, or the councillors may want to send Lukwago out and so on and so forth. But you see, I think they will make it more messy. They should find a working relationship.
Let's put the personalities aside. Robert again said all directors are appointed by the president. We should have it like NFA, URA, CAA, and so on, other authorities where they sit for interviews. Yes. You already said that.
Yeah, I already said that. It is very, very, very important. People, they should advertise these places, these positions, and people should qualify for the directorates they are heading.
Let's look at the priorities again. You touched it a little bit. 80%, according to Agaba himself when he was on this program, he said 80% of the buildings are not planned. How do we get out of that? Break all of them down?
No, we can't break them all of them down.
The 1920s?
No, I think what is likely to happen once our oil starts coming and we have cash, we shall have to build another city somewhere else.
You think so?
Yeah, I think
Nakasongola or wherever?
Yeah. That is my view. I don't see how you can change anything here in Kampala. Even if, because you see, Edmond, you go to, as you are going to Kisaka Market,
yes.
When you are sloping down there,
yes.
the roads, I mean, the buildings are in the road, properly, in the road. How are you going to break those buildings?
Well, Agaba is there, he'll do that for you, don't
No, you can't. You can't, because by the time the buildings have reached that level, a lot of ink has gone into sanctioning them by the authorities. You see, the sanctioning may have been unlawful or procured fraudulent or whatever, but you see, as far as the pen and paper is concerned, those buildings are lawfully there. They have been allowed.
Was stamped.
Yes. So that is the problem.
Well, we have to go. Thank you very much, dear guests. Mr. Ladislaus Rwakafuzi, human rights lawyer, a veteran at that. Thank you for coming to Spectrum, sir.
Thank you.
Assistant Superintendent.
Happy New Year.
Yes, thank you. And Assistant Superintendent of Police, Anatoli Muleterwa, Police Community Liaison Officer at the Kampala Metropolitan Police.
Thank you very much, and I wish everyone a good night.
Thank you for tuning in. The Lord Mayor could not come tonight. We'll probably have him another time. Thank you for tuning in. I have been your host, Edmond Kizito. Spectrum will be back tomorrow. Up next, though, is the news in English. So stay tuned.
Daddy, what is photosynthesis?
Yes, photosynthesis is a process which is a procedure which is